Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, the first president of the democratic South Africa. He was indeed an icon globally. Do you still remember FIFA World Cup in 2010 when Madiba Magic worked for South Africa to become the first country in Africa to host the FIFA World Cup? It was a phenomenal honor in the true sense of the word. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela was a revered statesman globally. I would like to read an excerpt from the book entitled The Game Changer, an authorized biography of Bantu Holomisa by Eric Nagy. The excerpt clearly indicates that Utata Madiba was a highly respected person. The story is narrated by Bantu Holomisa. It runs as follows. We left at around 7:30 a.m. for Nancyfield Hostel. On the way, Madiba asked the driver to stop briefly at a garage owned by the soccer manager Jomo Sono. Jomo was already at his business, and when he learned that Mandela was going to Nancyfield Hostel, he became very concerned. He pleaded with us not to go because it was dangerous. Jomo was right, as the hostels were then sources and sites of violence on the reef, involving migrant hostel dwellers and local residents, not just in Soweto but throughout the Witwatersrand. The so-called black-on-black violence between migrant workers from KwaZulu-Natal, largely aligned with Inkatha, and local township residents, often under the banner of the ANC, was also being funded at the time by the apartheid security forces. Madiba thanked Sono for his advice, but instead of going back home, we continued towards the hostel. He was intent on talking to the fighting groups personally. It was about 8 in the morning when we arrived. As we were coming closer, we saw people, mainly old people, men and women, as well as children, running in all directions, and we came across dead bodies and charred human remains on the road. Two groups, one wearing white headgear and the other red headbands or dukes, were clashing with spears, stones, and a variety of other weapons. At least while we were there, no gun was fired. It was the only two of us, and we were not armed. We literally ran the gauntlet. Madiba came out of the car and stood between the groups with hands raised in the air and shouted, "Stop! Stop! Stop!" When the mob saw him and realized that it was Mandela, everybody paid heed and stopped what they were doing. The end of an excerpt. Who could dare to come in between the two fighting groups, brandishing spears and assortment of weapons? Madiba Magic worked to reconcile the two groups as they finally stopped fighting. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, the man who was incarcerated for 27 years, did not harbor any hatred after his release. Indeed, he was a saint. Nelson Rolihlahla Mandela, the first president of the democratic South Africa. May his soul rest in peace.